Today we'll be taking a look at what I believe to be the best shiny Pokemon cards of all time, those being Gold Star cards. In front of us today I have the only two Gold Star cards in my collection. On the left we have Gold Star Metagross from the set EX Delta Species, and on the right we have Gold Star Regice from the set EX Legend Maker. For those that may not know, Gold Star cards were the chase cards of the Ruby and Sapphire era. They actually didn't begin to appear until the 7th set of that generation, with that set being EX Team Rocket Returns, and were only available in 8 sets total, with the final set being EX Dragon Frontiers, which was the second to last set of that generation. These two cards I think are just so cool, and Gold Star cards as a whole I absolutely love and adore. They're unlike any other shiny Pokemon card we've ever seen on a whole bunch of different levels, which I will explain here shortly. But one thing I would like to point out is that these are not the first shiny Pokemon cards we ever saw in the Pokemon TCG. In the generation before, or the Neo era, Johto era, whatever you want to call it, of Pokemon, Generation 2, we had the Shining cards, with the first ones being Shining Gyarados and Magikarp from Neo Revelation. I made a whole separate video on those cards, so I won't go in depth with them here, but I will note that I absolutely love those cards and think they're super cool. Although in the final set of that generation, in Neo Destiny, we had all the different Shining cards that everyone know and love. You have Shining Mewtwo, Noctowl, Charizard, Tyranitar, and those cards are supposed to be shiny Pokemon cards. And if you look at the artwork of the cards, you're like, yeah, that Pokemon is shiny, but does it really capture the actual shiny aspect of the Pokemon card? Like, look at this Metagross and Regice right here. You look at that card on the left, you're like, oh my god, that's a gold Metagross. You look at that Regice on the right, yeah, Regice is shiny, isn't that different than its normal variation, but you can tell it's a much deeper, darker, more of a cool blue on that Regice, and these cards just, when you look at them, you know they're shiny Pokemon cards, and they're unlike any of the other shiny Pokemon cards we have seen since. I have some other cards here today to show you all. We have cards such as the shiny Pokemon cards from sets such as Hidden Fates. You have the shiny Pokemon cards from Shining Fates. You have the shiny promo cards we've seen over the years. You have the return of those Shining cards I was just referring to. You have the full gold shiny Pokemon cards, and the newest version being the Radiant cards. All of these cards are really cool, but they're nothing like these Gold Star cards of the past. There's a handful of different reasons as to why I love these Gold Star cards so much. First of all, it's the Gold Star. Look at the top of both of those cards. You have a hollow Gold Star after the name of the Pokemon. Unlike anything we've ever seen before. Yes, we've seen EX cards, we've seen level X cards, we've seen uppercase EXs, we've seen lowercase EXs, we've seen the Mega M's we talked about last week, but nothing is quite like the allure of a hollow Gold Star at the top of a Pokemon card, and also to the artwork of the cards themselves. Every single Gold Star card has a very simple and basic background. Some of these other cards we've seen over the years have some elaborate backgrounds, and I will note that a lot of the shiny Pokemon cards have pretty basic or simple backgrounds. I mean, you look at the Shining Fates cards, they have just the real basic, simple backgrounds. Hidden Fates as well, both of those have the same basic background. The Shining cards of the newer ones, they have a basic background as well. But then you see a lot of other cards like the promo shiny cards, the Radiant cards, then you have the gold cards. Like, the backgrounds are kind of meh, in my opinion. The ones on these cards are absolute perfection. All of them have a perfect contrast with the colors of the shiny Pokemon and the background of the card. Like, look how cool that orange looks with the cool blue of the Regice. Look how awesome the dark red looks with the gold of the Metagross. They just look absolutely perfect. And look at the actual Pokemon themselves. Notice the artwork of the card. These aren't full art cards. These aren't normal Pokemon cards. These are what are meant to be normal artwork Pokemon cards, but the Pokemon are actually outside of the basic artwork box. Look at the Regice on the right. Look at that, its hands on either side. They're coming out of that box the artwork of the Pokemon is normally within. Look at Metagross as well. You see the hands once again coming outside of that little box the artwork of the Pokemon are normally restricted to. This is a very small detail, but it adds so much depth to the card. It adds almost a 3D aspect to it that makes it unlike any other Pokemon card we've ever seen. These cards are so very cool and are without a doubt my absolute favorite shiny Pokemon cards of all time. one thing I know a lot of people are wondering is, will we see these Gold Star cards make a return? Look back to the Ruby and Sapphire era, as I was just mentioning, which these cards are the main chase cards of. What's one of the most iconic aspects of that generation? The lowercase EX cards. And what has just made a return for the Scarlet and Violet era? The lowercase EX cards. So looking at that, one cannot help but assume that we may see Gold Star cards make a return during the Scarlet and Violet era. And if we're being honest, I honestly hope that isn't the case. I love how these cards are right now. If they add any more, they may potentially make them a little, watered down or lose the allure we've seen of them in the past. We did recently see a return of a Gold Star card. We saw Gold Star Greninja get released last year with the 25th anniversary set, and this card right here is absolute perfection. This is an example of the Pokemon Company going all out on a card. You have the most popular version of shiny Pokemon cards, these Gold Star cards. You have one of the most popular Pokemon of all time, Greninja. It has a awesome shiny, and they paired the shiny up with the dark typing, making this awesome card. And once again, look at Greninja. The hand and feet are going outside of that little border of the basic artwork box you normally see on the Pokemon. It contrasts perfectly with the gold and black background on the card. This card is truly just absolute perfection, and I feel that if they bring the Gold Star cards back as a normal rarity in the sets, it just won't be the same. This is what I hope to maybe be the last Gold Star car of all time, because this Greninja right here is it's just absolutely perfect. I've had these cards myself for years. This Gold Star Metagross I traded for with my cousin way back when, probably early 2000s or something like that, like maybe around 2008 or something like that. I traded him for a Holo Delivery Dragonite promo card from the first movie, and the Regice I bought on eBay in around 2013 for like $24. I've had these cards for years. They're in played condition. They're not the best of condition, but I absolutely love them, and they're some of my favorite cards in my entire collection, because the Gold Star cards are they're so different than any other Pokemon card. They're so iconic, and they're arguably, and I believe to be, the coolest shiny Pokemon cards of all time. And that is all for today. Let me know in the comment section down below your thoughts on Gold Star cards, and if you have any in your own collections. Thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and this is the Pokeplaya signing out.